This lesson is about decimals. We're going to talk about place value, comparing and ordering decimal numbers. Let's talk about the place value chart. In the first column, you can see your ones place. Then we have a decimal point that separates the whole part of the number from the fraction part of the number. In the fraction part, we have the tenths, the hundreds, and the thousands. Decimals show part of a whole. Remember that the decimal point separates the ones place and the tenths place. The decimal says the word and. Let's take a look at some decimal models. You can see here a whole square. This is one whole or one unit. If you divide this unit in 10 pieces, you will have tenths. If you take one of those, you will have 1/10. And as a decimal form, you can see it as 0.1. If you divide this unit in 100 pieces, then you get hundreds. If you color one of them, the fraction would be 1/100th, and the decimal number would be 0.01. You can always annex a 0 on the left of the point and you will have 0.01 as your decimal number. Let's take a look at another example. If I take 42 little squares out of the 100 squares, then you'll have 42 hundredths, and the decimal number would be 0.42 as the decimal. This is the example using a mixed number. You can see that there are 3 different units, complete units, and then we have 7 tenths colored. That is 3 and 7 tenths, or 3.7. You can use a number line to compare decimals. When you compare decimals, you want to know which decimal number is greater and which one is smaller. The first thing you have to do is place the numbers on the number line. Let's compare 5.1 and 5.8. In this number line, you'll have 5.0 or 5 complete units at the beginning and 6.0 at the end. You need to place 5.1. Your reference here can be half of that unit, and you know that half of that unit is 5.5, right in the middle. So 5.1, you're going to place it on the first tenth of this unit. And 5.8, you're going to place it on the 8th tenth. Therefore, I can see that 5.1 is less than 5.8 because it's to the right, is placed to the left, to the left of the number. You can also compare decimals by using place value. Let's compare 2.037 and 2.033. The first thing you have to do is line up the decimal points. Then you have to start at the left, comparing each place value. You compare the places that are greater first. In this case, our greatest place is the ones. So we're going to see the ones digits. And we have 2 and 2. These numbers are the same, so this is not going to help me know which one is greater. So I continue with the next column, the tenths column. It's 0 and 0. I cannot know again which one is greater. So I go back, I go to the third line, my hundredths column. It's 3 and 3. I continue with the next column, the thousands column. And I can see that 7 and 3 are not equal. 7,000 is greater than 3,000. So I know that 2.37 is greater than 2.033. Let's compare three numbers now. We have 19.48, 19.481, and 19.4. First thing I do is line up the decimal points. Then you want to annex a 0 so that each number has the same number of decimal places. So I put a 0 in the first number, and I'm going to put 2 zeros in the last number to have the same number of digits. Now I can start comparing places. I'm going to start by the tens place because that is my greatest place right now. I can see that I have 3 ones, so these are the same. Now I continue with my ones column. They are all nines. I go next to the tens place. I have all fours, and then I continue comparing the hundreds place. In this column, I do have a difference because I have 2 eights and a 0. I know that the 0 is less than 8, and the task they have given me is to organize these numbers from the least to the greatest. So I know I'm going to start with the 19.4 in its original form. I don't need to write the zeros anymore if I don't want to. Let's continue comparing. I cross that out and I compare my last column, my thousands column. I see that I have a 0 and I have a 1. 0 is less than 1, so therefore this is my next number, 19.48 in its original form. I cross it out, and finally I write 19.481 as my greatest number, and I cross it out. And that's my order. I hope you enjoyed this presentation taken from the link you can see here. And if you have any other questions, I will see you in class.